Now, the host of Aaron's Hour, Aaron Phillips.
Man, that voice sounded familiar, John. The guy that
you don't look anything like Aaron Phillips.
Yeah, but the guy that introduced him sounds like me. That's weird.
That's weird.
Wow. Well, everybody, welcome to Aaron's Hour. As you can see, Aaron's not here, so it's not Aaron's Hour today. It's George the Mouth. Hello,
It's Aaron.
Aaron who?
Aaron's not here, man.
I wonder where he's at. Is he not in trouble again with the law, is he?
No, I think he made bail. He's okay. He's on his way back.
Well, that's good to know. So everybody knows now that Aaron's not here. George the Mouth's taken over. So it's George's hour for today. So Aaron, forgive me. I'll do the best I can. I promise no bad words. I can't promise you totally that.
Well, should I cut off the mic now?
Right. Just go ahead and just cut the mic off now and let it go. But
all right.
John Hill, he's here in the studio. He's going to open his mouth and his trap when he feels like it. We have a couple of topics we were going to talk about today. I was going to try to keep it easy peasy and talk about Las Vegas and how it's grown and how we just found out last week that Marky Mark in the Funky Bunch, Mark Wahlberg, who lives in Vegas now, had dreamt of opening a studio, Las Vegas Hollywood studio combination here in Las Vegas, and hell, I guess
all I can say is it's about time. I mean, there is some phenomenal talent here in town.
I have waited 35 years. I've heard this forever. Yep. We've all heard it forever, and everything fell through. Hell, even a few months ago, they were talking about and then somehow.
But that was only because Wahlberg sold his house, and so they thought, okay, well, that's it. He's selling his house
to buy
He's
another
bailing,
one.
Right? He's bailing out here. And so now they all feel stupid.
Well, I heard it was the tax incentives. I'm thinking, well, wait a second. Why wouldn't the state of Nevada pass a tax incentive law for the movie industry? Well, I guess things are starting to shape up. But feel free, guys, to call in Aaron's Hour. You guys know the number. If you know, you've called him in before. So you know you can email us, 702-992-3207. Oh, my God, I read the number right. Holy shit. So, yeah, if you want to give us a call, give us a call. Again, we're going to be talking about
We may or may not answer.
Right, who knows? But again, it's just me today, so we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. And again, we're also going to talk about Tropicana. What they got? The Tropicana Hotel, been here since 1957.
That breaks my heart.
Me too. Another week or so, right? Another 10 days, and it's over.
April
2nd or 3rd,
something like that.
John, I mean, you've been here a long time. I mean, I thought I've been here a while. I've been here since the late 80s.
It's part of the. I mean, it's part of the experience of coming into town.
Right.
And yeah, I'm going to be sad to see it go.
Well, they're flocking to the casinos now to grab all the souvenirs they can.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that. Anything else that you see in the news that you feel is worthy of discussing, John, or we just want to?
Yeah, but we're not allowed to talk about politics here. So.
Oh, well, you and I
have to
show.
I have to add this one, okay? So my sister sent me a, you know what a meme is, right?
Yeah.
All right. So she sent this to me this morning, and it's got a picture of Donald Trump, and it says, these are popping up all over New York. It's got a picture of Donald Trump stapled up on a bulletin board, and it says, do not accept checks from this man.
Well, you know what the crazy thing about it is? And again, whether you voted for him or don't like him or whatever, he just became $3.5 billion richer.
On paper.
It's
he can't funny
really
money.
touch it for 6 months at
least.
Can't
do anything about it.
So we'll see what happens.
And that's not going to help him on Monday.
No, well, but we'll see what happens. There's still 3 days to go. And again, I was watching the news. I watch it. And you and I, one of these days, might discuss stuff like this on the air. But hell, the studio would be smashed. The lights would be all of a sudden it'd be, we'd go offline. But, we'll see what happens. It's a big kind of crazy thing going on. But again, we'll see. But speaking about Las Vegas and politics, you see the school board again. I know Aaron's not here, but boy, they're starting to find out a bunch of crazy stuff about the Clark County School Board. I don't know if you've seen that in the last.
Get rid of all of them.
I don't understand. Again, I didn't prepare for this, but why in Las Vegas the school system's at the bottom of some of the 25 biggest cities in the country, and I just don't get it. With all this money in this town, why you wouldn't want. Especially these casinos that have future jobs for, management in the hotels. Why wouldn't you want students why wouldn't you help them out
You want them just smart enough to be able to stand at the table, count cards, or make beds.
Well, what about management, employees in management, people that
They
have
come
a
from
desire?
they come from somewhere else in somebody's family.
You know, in the old days, I remember hell, even Steve Wynn did it in the beginning when he first moved here. He started out as a dealer at the Golden Nugget and ended up buying shares of the hotel because that's the direction he wanted to go in. Can that happen again today? Can someone start out as a dealer or an employee and just start putting their money towards the casino? And the next thing you know, 10 years later,
Nope.
he owns half the casino?
Nope.
Can't be done
Ain't
anymore.
gonna happen. Nope.
You know, why do things change like that? Everything goes corporate greed. And we always say greed and money, but there's got to be more of a definition than just, it's easy to go greed. But why?
Because that's what it is.
You know, it doesn't give a guy that has nothing a chance to move up. And
Right.
And
But that's the point.
and that's with anything, not just casinos, but
the
hospitals.
The 21st century version of slavery.
Well, it's
Just enough so that you can survive, but not enough so that you can. I mean, that's where all your effort and energy is going, is just surviving, getting through the week, making sure you can pay your rent and your cable bill, and and
Believe
that's
me,
it.
I know. And what about, that goes with any industry. The hospitals, doctors that start out as doctors and want to move up to the corporate level where they're the head physician of a hospital. I mean, my mom went up the ranks. And this is back in the 60s and 70s.
When it
And
was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you can't even go. I don't even know how it's not even about being rich anymore. It's just like you said, trying to make enough to. I saw, in fact, the paper here to live in Las Vegas. If you're single, $96,000.
I saw that.
That's a bit high.
Now, you got to make and the thing was to be able to live in Las Vegas, have a 1-bedroom apartment, and live reasonably comfortably, not high on the hog, $96,000.
Isn't that a bit high, really, for Vegas?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you could do it on, $52,000 a year, $1,000 a week in Las Vegas is okay.
Yeah.
If you're single.
But I mean, just look what happened to rents in the last couple years, last 5 years. Most of it's doubled. I mean, you're paying, $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 for a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom place.
I feel bad for some of these folks that are coming to move to Vegas, and even though it's cheaper than San Francisco and LA and New York, still $1,200 a month to find a piece of shit apartment in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
$1,200 a month. Hell, my house payment's less than that. So it's just I got lucky there, and I just don't see how progress, even rich people, how can you let progress get and impede and get ahead of the workers? And now you go to. We went to see a couple. They're a friend of ours. They're in their 80s, successful, retired. They live in a very nice adult, older community. And my mom lived in one the last few years of her life. It's like all-in-one restaurants. They have things to do. This thing was highfalutin, real nice on the Horizon Ridge and Eastern area. And it's very expensive. But they're able to do whatever they want. They can live there. We went there to eat. They invited us. I guess they can have guests. It was like going to a restaurant.
Yeah.
They had the menu, and they said, order whatever you want. Order 2 of everything if you want, whatever, which was grateful. I actually was very nice. I didn't eat like a pig like I normally do. But they had a robot bussing tables. It was
cool.
It looked like Lost in Space. The guy, it didn't have the top head on it.
Yeah.
It had places for 2 bus stops.
Morning, Will Robinson.
Right. That kind of thing. I don't know if Rennie, you remember Lost in Space? Well, the bus tub was, they had 2 bus tubs, and it would go around, and the bus boy would come by. It would come by and assist with the bus tubs and would load it up, and then it would go back, get the command to go back in the kitchen. I guess there's an app on your phone, you can route it where it goes. And we were sitting, I was watching that. I wasn't even hearing their conversation. I was just watching the whole thing the whole time going, no way. So that's where we're headed, especially in this city. I think Las Vegas will be one of the first few cities to see how that automation stuff works.
Right.
I mean, they're already doing it with, have you seen those BMWs on the strip that are driverless? They have a guy in the driver's seat and a guy in the passenger seat, but the car drives itself. And they go up and down the strip. They're advertising stuff, but they're testing out these driverless vehicles.
Well, I think it was last year they started testing drones, pilotless drones for taxi cabs.
As in how many? As in putting a passenger
4
on
people.
How the hell?
Well, they're testing them out.
Out in the desert somewhere to see if they're. That's crazy. Yeah, I know that's coming. I just don't see the Jetsons type of thing.
Dude, we were supposed to have those
50
20
years
years
ago.
ago. You
Right.
know? Hey, where's our flying card? You know what we do need here, though? We need a decent movie studio here in Las Vegas.
And guess what?
What?
We were just discussing that. $1.8 billion. I guess Howard Hughes couldn't keep that name out of it.
Yeah.
You know, he was a big director back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. Howard Hughes Holdings.
You know what I'm thankful for Howard Hughes? Why I like Howard Hughes?
Well, he bought most of the land in Summerlin. He owned all that.
Jane Russell.
Yeah, Jane Russell. My God. Yeah, he did. They dated for a while.
He was the one that hired her for her first film. Yeah.
Right.
The Outlaw. Well, I think it was The Outlaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she was a hot one. Her and Marilyn back in the day.
You know, and of the two, I preferred Jane Russell.
She was tall.
Don't get me wrong. I thought Marilyn was hot. Yeah, but to me, Jane Russell was.
She had that sultry brunette look, the lips,
and that voice in her.
Yeah, hey, come over here. I'd be like, hey, wow. But yeah, so it's Howard Hughes Holding and Sony.
Right.
Sony is committed to coming here again. They say it was just passed, and everybody's
Wait, does that mean we're going to have Mariah Carey here all the time?
Oh yeah,
wasn't she hooked up with Sony for a while?
Yeah, she was with. I don't think the guy that she was hooked up with. He was president of Sony, or head of the music department of Sony. I don't know. Tony Mata. He was an Italian guy, a WAP there, but yeah, I don't know if he's doing that or not. But yeah, I see the studio being pretty good. They're over. It's going to be in the southwest side of town by the Durango Casino, that new casino that just opened up a few months ago. So they've shown the plot of land. 10 buildings, and Mark Wahlberg, I don't know how much he had to do with it, but I'm sure he had something to do with it. That's why he moved here.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's going to follow him here, but again, that's what, 2 or 3 years away. I'll be 65 years old. Could maybe still be able to get cast as somebody's grandfather in a sitcom. Hey, Joey, how are you doing?
Back in my day.
Right. So I don't know. I'm hoping that.
How do you think I feel?
Right. Yeah, you'll be great grandfather. Or
I'll be your grandfather.
Right. But yeah, they're coming, and supposedly they're going to have a nice area out there. And again, there's always naysayers. We've already got some of the
matter what
the neighbors,
in the
Summerlin area that are already.
This is brilliant. Okay, so I'm thinking it's probably been 10 years ago, maybe. I was a project manager on the shooting park out at the end of Decatur. Right. I mean, if you drive all the way out to the end of Decatur, north, and there's a residential area, and then just about 1.5 miles beyond that. So the residents of the area went to court because they wanted to get an injunction because of the noise and all that stuff. So the developers did a study. And they, went out there to do a sound study, and they said that the noise from the firing range was less than the sound of a car driving in front of your house with all your doors and windows closed.
Right.
So they go into court. The reps for the homeowners association said, "Well, we don't believe that they actually did a study out there because we didn't hear anything."
Oh my God!
And the judge says, "Bam, that's it. Dismiss the case." And I just thought that was the funniest thing in the world, man.
Well, you
didn't really do that because we didn't hear nothing.
And these folks have got to realize 10,000 jobs supposedly will be created.
Right.
Not just actors, people in the film industry, but waiters and waitresses. They're going to have restaurants on site. They're going to have other businesses in the surrounding area that cater to the film industry.
Equipment rental, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So I don't understand. And again,
electricians.
I'm hoping, against that being said, that there's going to be 10,000 job openings, that Hollywood doesn't bring their own. Yeah, the star actors probably will come from there. Hell, some probably already live here.
Yeah.
But, some decent roles for unknown actors that are good. You mentioned it earlier before we came on that we have a lot of great talent in all aspects in this town. Directors, filmmakers, camera operators, full-length businesses that are out here that can help with this.
Support that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, a lot of actors. I know a lot of great screenwriters. One of my friends, Rennie, he's right here with us in the studio. We're going to do that vampire film, Dracula's Death. And there's a lot of opportunities here. And I'm hoping Mark Wahlberg and these studio executives, I don't know if they're going to have studio executives move out here or if they're going to find someone that's capable of doing it here. I imagine there'll be Sony employees, at least in the beginning.
Dude, it's a 4-hour drive to LA.
Yep.
On
a good day.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not. I think it's going to be good for the area. It's going to be good for some of the talent that's here, and I think it will give a lot of talent here the opportunity to be seen,
right?
So that they can take it the next step from there,
right? And have opportunities to get. In fact, you provide, especially with what's going on up here in the near future,
right?
Actors can get headshots done. They can do actors reels. They can get stuff done like that with businesses like yourself and other familiar businesses in the industry. So I'm hoping that this will. It's going to be a positive impact. It's going to be.
You're
still
gonna,
2 or 3
have
years
some people
away.
in the area that bitch until they get there and they see, hey, this is actually pretty good,
right?
And
I want to see actors and directors, local ones, get an opportunity to pitch their own projects and their own scripts to the studio and give Las Vegas talent the opportunity to be seen, like you mentioned earlier.
Well, and I mean, think about the weather here. That in itself,
365, pretty much.
And we've got the desert. In 5 minutes, you're out in the middle of the desert. In 30 minutes, you're up at Mount Charleston. In 15 minutes, you're out at Lake Mead. So, and we've got the city, you've got the suburb. There's just an enormous potential here for them. It just makes sense. I can't believe they haven't done it sooner.
Right. Well, I moved here in '88. I've been hearing about this for 35 years.
Yeah.
Oh, Lone Mountain, where they were supposed to, or Sunrise Mountain, we're supposed to build a studio out in Henderson. And this has been 35 years. And a lot of agencies have come and gone since then. But I think the agencies that are up now, if they can hang on another 2 or 3 years, I think we're going to see a great influx of movies and stuff. They already say they film that Hollywood comes here 75 times a year.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. You're thinking, even if it's not major films that you hear about, documentaries and other stuff that you may not hear about, they come here.
Sure.
It's got to be cheaper for them to be here already.
Well, and
it's going to be.
Just think about the businesses that are going to sprout up to support that.
Right.
And what they do.
Well, I can't wait, man. I'm looking forward to it. If I can't go to Hollywood to become a star, whoever thought I'm going to move to Las Vegas to become a star. But now it's going to be,
that's not so far out.
Well, again, I've heard a lot of LA and a lot of Californians have moved here that are in the industry saying, George, it's dying in LA. Yeah. It's dying. Atlanta's got full-blown studios. Tyler Perry's got a studio. They're building another one out there. They film a lot in Texas and New Mexico now. So studios are propping up everywhere now. It's like gambling. It used to be just Vegas and Atlantic City. Now you can do it online.
763,212 Indian casinos just in the state of California.
How many?
No.
I was 768,000. You counted every one of them?
No. But I mean, they're popping up all over in any of the Indian land.
You can gamble anywhere now.
Right.
Although Vegas and the Atlantic City are still the grandpa and grandfather of it all, but you don't have to go to Vegas unless you just want that specific Vegas feel.
Anymore. Something just occurred to me. I'm going to have to. I want to verify this, but I think that land that they are talking about building that casino on is in fact Indian land, and if that is the case,
the studio or the casino,
yeah.
Really? Indians own land out there in the Southwest?
For some reason, yeah, because I know that one of the casinos,
Hell, they could open up.
I'm going to have to verify that. Because if that is the fact, if that is the case, holy shit, the tax breaks and shit that they get by being on Indian land and the things that they do not have to comply with.
Hell, they could open up a dispensary. Yeah,
They don't.
Hollywood.
They don't need to. They don't need to anyway. So anyway,
Right, but that would be awesome.
yeah,
right there.
we should take a break or something. Pay some
All right.
bills. All right?
Okay. Well, we'll be right back. We're going to continue on with the movie theater stuff, the movie studio stuff, and also talk about the Tropicana being turned into a Major League Baseball stadium.
Right, and here's a business who can help support that studio.
That's right. We'll be.
Hi, I'm John P.G. Stiles. Some people call me JPEG. You can probably guess why. I'm the founder and partner at WWDBTV. Does your business need a commercial, or do you already have one and you just want to get the message out there? Do you need a sizzle reel? Do you need an audition tape for a part that you're up for? Or have you ever thought about hosting your own show? Well, this is the place, WWDBTV.
Oh man, I just took a shot of Jack Daniels. No, it's a little too early for that. Maybe later when I get home. I don't want to get too drunk on Aaron's Hour. But welcome back to Aaron's Hour. I'm George the Mouth Miklos. You may recognize me from the Roundtable Show, and we've got John Invisible Styles in the back of the room running things, and you hear him. You can hear him chime in here and there. We're discussing actually how Las Vegas is getting a movie studio here, and we're discussing the benefits and the possibilities of what can happen here. Yeah, John, I saw you.
So it just hit me. We have a studio that's coming.
Yep,
They're building a monorail.
that's right.
Between here and California.
Haven't even talked about that yet. Yep, the monorail is going to be. They've hired thousands of workers in California already because it's going to be. I guess Nevada and California have come together now and decided how. And again, we were discussing this before the show. It's going to benefit people that don't fly.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it until you said it. I was thinking, well, some people are already saying, well, it's cheaper to fly there in less time than take a train. But some people, it's going to be a 3-hour train. You don't have to stop. There'll be.
Try to get out on the 15 on a Sunday afternoon or Monday morning.
Going back.
See how long it takes you to get to state line.
Yeah, 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Who knows? I've seen
And
for
coming
miles.
the other way on Thursdays and Fridays,
No, I think it's a good idea. Again, that's another project they've been discussing for the last 20 years or so.
I mean, think of it. If you have a train that's running regularly, maybe, every day.
Yeah, a few times a day.
A couple times a day.
Yeah.
What that's going to do for our tourist industry.
Right. And the funny thing is I don't know how far. It's not going all the way to LA. It's going to what's the town just before San Bernardino area.
Yeah.
It's going to stop there. It's not going all the way in. So I've heard people say, well, it doesn't make sense it's still going to be like a 250-mile trek, 3 hours. You don't have to worry about anything. You can just sit back, read a book, relax.
But there are trains that run out of LA down to San Bernardino and Riverside, and
so you could take a.
You can
do they have that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they.
In fact, there's one in San Juan Capistrano. There's an area.
Oh boy, there's got to be a story behind this.
No, this is the honest to God truth. This is true. There is an area there in San Juan Capistrano where the train comes through, and it's kind of just outside of the area where people line up and moon the train when it comes by.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
Maybe they'll get that.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
But I know that they're going to be. It's going to be another. You've got all this stuff happening. The movie studios, which is still, even if they broke ground today, it would take a couple of years. And you got the monorail. I don't know how long that'll take. That's going to take a few years.
3 to 5 years, I think.
Yeah. I mean, shit. I'll be in the late 60s by then. And then you've got. We were discussing the Tropicana Hotel.
Yeah,
we spoke about it earlier. It's been around since the late 50s. They're tearing it down for the Oakland Athletics to move to Las Vegas. I am not a big fan of that. There's so much, especially where they're going to put it. All this land south on the strip there, they could have opened up they could have bought 20 acres and had a parking lot that filled 5,000 cars. But for some reason, they want it all packed in.
Just think about the traffic.
That's going to be awful.
I mean, holy
as soon as
shit.
they close it down and they start construction, oh my God.
How are the casino workers going to get to their jobs?
The Tropicana and Las Vegas Boulevard is one of the busiest streets in the world.
Yeah.
And now you're going to tear down a hotel and build a baseball stadium, and how horrible. It's going to be horrible traffic-wise. Although I did hear that they're only going to use what is it they said, 15, 20-acre property. They're only going to use 9 acres of it for the ball field, and they're going to build another hotel casino on the other part of it.
I'd heard that, yeah.
I mean, that's not surprising, shocking.
Right.
But I've seen the rendering of the baseball stadium. I don't know if you've seen it already. I think it's pretty cool looking, but really, again, they couldn't have put it down south. Oh, nobody's going to show up. Are you kidding me? That's what they said about the Flamingo Hilton back in the 40s when Bugsy built it. Oh, nobody's going to come out
Dude, look
here.
at the people that would drive out to the Silver Bowl for the UNLV game.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. That's another spot. It could have been stadium's grounds already kind of built. You could have revamped it for a baseball stadium, or even farther south on the strip between, like, the South Point. There's like 100 acres right next to it.
Yeah.
Where that apartment complex is, that the tower's there off of Warm Springs and the Boulevard. Again, folks that don't live here, we're talking south of the Strip, south of Mandalay Bay, where there's a lot of open stuff before you get to the M Resort down south there.
Well, if you've ever driven into Vegas, you know what we're talking about.
Right. So, I mean, but again, it's just, they want everything jam-packed. You've got Allegiant Stadium, the new Raiders home. You got T-Mobile, where the Golden Knights play, and you've got the Thomas and Mack Center. You got three arenas and stadiums that can fit 100,000 people collectively within a mile and a half of each other.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever been, anywhere in the U.S.
Well,
like
maybe
that.
they're figuring after a Raiders game, you can walk over and see the A's, and then after that, you can walk over.
Isn't that weird that both teams are from Oakland? Both the city of Oakland just shit on both teams, and they're letting them go.
Yeah.
And again, I'm still not convinced about the A's. They haven't. I still hear some hemming and hawing in Oakland about how they want him to stay and how they're still trying to work stuff out.
Okay, so my question is, what happens if in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks,
right,
they implode the Tropicana and the A's go,
oh, we've changed our mind.
Never mind.
That would be horrible.
Yeah.
Although I think the Trop, they were destined to blow that thing up anyway. I mean, but I don't know what they would replace it with if they did that and the A's pulled out. There would have to be some massive lawsuits, because I think they've already they're already in cahoots
There's some
together.
Contractual stuff, but they wouldn't be
so I
blowing
think
the place
that's
up.
the way it's going to be. But again, that'll create some more jobs, and they've already offered the employees. You know what I thought was cool? There's like 700 employees of the Tropicana, and they had their names on the marquee. They flashed their names on the marquee for thanking them for their service.
But they're getting a pretty good severance package too, from what I heard.
And opportunities to move to other properties.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty good.
You know what I missed about that place we used to go to was the pool.
When
I first moved here, you didn't have to stay here. You could just walk in there, maybe pay a few bucks, or even sneak in.
Yeah.
We used to sneak in late 80s.
And they used to have the floating blackjack games there.
Oh, and the floating bars.
Yeah.
You can get drunk without getting out of the water.
Yeah.
That's funny. So again, Vegas is changing. We've got all kinds of stuff happening. And again,
the only thing that's consistent about Las Vegas is it changes.
And again, I understand it, but I look at some of these older photos of Vegas in the 50s and 60s, even the 80s when I moved here, the Stardust, the Frontier,
Silver Slipper, El Rancho,
gone.
All of those, man.
Man, you could have so much fun back then, and you see some of the advertisements for the shows that they had, and you'd see Lena Horne and Red Fox.
No more showgirls.
No, can you believe that?
There are no shows on the Strip with showgirls.
Again, but
that was Vegas.
That was greed. Again, they don't want to play a live orchestra with the showgirls, and it got to be too expensive with all the headgear and everything. And in fact, where the Horseshoe is now, Bally's, wasn't that the last show that had showgirls up until
Jubilee.
or was it Jubilee or Folies Bergère? One
No,
of the two.
it was Jubilee.
Okay.
Jubilee was the last one.
And it ran the whole time,
Yeah.
60 years. Saw some of those photos of the time gone by, man. But again, Howard Hughes, can you imagine what he would think today?
Yeah.
With Howard Hughes Holdings still hanging out and building a movie studio here in Vegas.
Yep.
I think he'd be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, he'd have
But,
his plane parked out at Lake Mead.
How long would his hair be and his beard be? Wasn't he one of those?
His fingernails were about this
Yeah,
long.
germophobia.
Yeah.
Didn't like anybody around. They don't make characters like that anymore in Vegas. It's just, but I think Bob Stupak was the last. Wasn't he the last
he
of the?
probably was the last character.
Right. Did you ever go there to Stratosphere and all that stuff?
Yeah. Shit, I remembered before the tower was there.
Vegas World.
You know, yeah, and he had the mural on the side of the building on what he wanted to do there. You know, and it was a shame that he didn't live to see it.
Right.
You know,
That's where I went. I used to go there to get my illegal dealings taken care of. Back in the 80s, I would go to the Vegas World. Meet me at Vegas World. I'll be there at 2:00.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a lot of fun. So anything else in Vegas? We've got the monorail, we've got the movie studio, we got the Tropicana being blown up.
Well, you mentioned the Durango, the new
Yeah, it's
casino
been open
out
about
there.
3 months now.
Yeah, from what I heard, it's not doing that well. So
You know, again, it's in a residential area. There's a lot of residences out there, but nobody gambles that much anymore. Today's world, yeah, they still have guys that gamble and go and play the machines, but a lot of the younger folks don't gamble.
right.
They go for the other reasons:
Yep.
the shows, the food, the pool, the nightclubs, and they try to stay
The
away
bottle
from.
service.
Yeah, right. Which, my God, $500 to $1,000 just for a bottle service at a pool
Yeah.
area. And that's where it's getting out of hand now. But I think I don't know what the casinos, there's always going to be gamblers, but they're going to have to make up the difference somehow with other stuff.
Well, I mean, I hate to say this, back in the day,
Hey, yeah.
when you came to town, you were treated like, hey, we're really glad you're here. What can we do for you? You know, here's a room for gambling, you know. Here, the pit bosses could write comps for the restaurants and shit like that. And now it takes a fucking act of God to be able to, you know, get a free dinner.
I have.
Hey, I dropped $18,000, man. Any chance I could get a coupon for the buffet?
Get out. They
Yeah.
kick you out. No, I remember those when I
Yeah.
first moved here. It was like Cheers, where everybody knew your name.
And people got dressed up to go to the shows, or they go
Now
out.
they're dressed up like they're going to Kmart in
Yeah,
their
they got
pajamas and
flip
slippers.
flops and shorts and tank tops.
You know, I have a story that I had a friend of mine. He went
Wait,
back.
you had a friend?
Yeah, very few.
Long time ago, though.
Yes,
right?
he does. Yeah, we don't even stay in contact anymore.
Okay.
Okay, his father and his stepmother owned a medical supply company here. This is back in the 80s, 90s. Loaded, and he was a grumpy old Italian guy, and my friend was my age, maybe a year younger, and his father used to gamble huge. He would get comp rooms at the Rio and the Gold Coast, where they're right across the street from each
Right.
other. So every once in a while, you know, when we're broke and we needed money for Coke or food, and I don't mean Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
but we would go to the casino. He would either be at the Gold Coast or the Rio. We'd go see him at the table. He was never happy. He was always, but there was a level of unhappiness where you could approach him. You knew when he
Right.
was really pissed off or just semi-pissed off. And there would be days when
It
we'd go
depended on the
on the
height of
stack. I was
of
just
chips.
going there. It depended on the height of the stack of the chips on the table. So we'd go in the casino and let's hit my dad up. And we were good friends. We had known each other for a long time, years. And we'd go in there and he's like, what the fuck do you guys want? You know, the old,
Yeah.
think of the Godfather with what the fuck you want? Just like it.
Yeah.
And, well, you know, we were hoping that you might want to, well, get the fuck out of here. He'd throw a couple chips to each of us, $100 chips,
Yeah.
$200 each. Get the fuck out of here. So we knew he was in a semi-good mood. I mean, we had enough money to go eat, go buy weed, go to the strip club, get some Coke, get the girls. You know, we would do that once in a while. And then there was times we'd
still
go
have
in,
gas money left.
Right. And then there are times we'd go in there and we would say, get the fuck out of here in a different tone.
Right.
which we knew, and then the chips are like we hit him. We got there too late.
You bet, Dad. We're out of here.
Yeah, so then he would get pissed just to get, gave us enough to go get something to eat. But that was it. We would do that all the time, man. And this guy, I'd go outside and throw up for his father. And when I would see, I lost $25,000 in a couple hours, I'd be out in the parking lot throwing up for him. After I got my little chips for my night out. But those people still exist. But again, like you said, today's world, they don't comp you anymore. They used to give he had 3 rooms at the Gold Coast and 2 at the Rio the same weekend.
Yeah.
He's got 5 fucking rooms. I go, 5 rooms? So we had to call all friends and some girls, and you could fill up maybe 3 of the rooms. Couldn't all 5? I'm thinking, I knew a lot of folks, but he had 5 rooms. He just took them, and we would just invite a bunch of parties. We'd have a party, and his dad goes, just don't fuck up the room. It was room service and everything. And those were the days, though. Those were the Vegas stories are pretty much gone now.
Yep.
I don't know.
Corporate.
Yeah. Well, and the Mirage, Steve Wynn.
Yeah.
When he opened up the Mirage in '89, that was my first casino job in Las Vegas. I'd been here a year. I moved here in '88. Got hired there, and that was the beginning of the corporate mob, and where the mafia was slowly being suppressed and moving out. So now again, corporate mob. And speaking of that, the Fountain Blue, they're not doing that great either.
Yeah.
Haven't they? The brand new casino that opened up.
How long did it take them? Was it 5 years or 8 years?
No, the Fountain Blue.
Yeah, to get that built.
Oh, longer than that. I think it was an eyesore back in 2008.
Yeah.
It sat there for years.
You're right.
And finally, I think in the last 3 years or so, but it opened up, I think, around a week or two before Durango Station.
Yeah.
Late last year. They've had CEOs from the top to the bottom resign and leave. The president, the vice president of the company. I wonder what's going on. I mean, I've never been in that area of that type of, upper management in a casino, but I don't know what kind of problems they might have or if that's a normal thing. Sometimes executives come in to help open her up and then they move on, but that's kind of turned into a mess too.
The head guy for the Sphere also bailed here a couple months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because they were, what was it? $900,000 in the hole their first year. But
but
me,
that was kind of expected.
Yeah. I mean, what business, starts out making money from day one? It takes time.
You spent $2 billion on the Sphere, I think. And now it's going to take time.
But everyone that I've talked to that's had anything to do with the Sphere or been in there or seen anything just raves about it.
Oh, I've heard fantastic. Well, Rennie has been there a lot.
Did you do some
I've been on the
security
outside
over there?
I've been on the outside for F1. I was in the parking lot of the Sphere part of the racetrack went through there.
Right.
Oh, I was there for 3 weeks off and on, but
I know what it looks like inside.
Yeah, Randy knows what it likes to be inside there. And did you want to come on in and talk about it, or you just want to hang out? But you've been in the Sphere, so
I'll pipe in every once
Okay, yeah, the inside, and I guess it's my only concern for me. I don't have vertigo, but the seats at the top, which I heard are the best view, but you gotta climb up there to get it. And of course, they're like when you're climbing a mountain or a hiking trail, just don't look down.
Yeah.
Or it's like in a stadium. Oh, they do? So, okay. Well, then that might even be better.
They got what, elevators?
Yeah.
Fuck then. Okay, then I'll go.
Yeah, let's go. But yeah, I guess, they were paying up the ass for you too.
Right.
I just saw the Eagles. The Eagles are going to do a residency.
Oh, no shit.
They just signed, and I guess
wow.
later this year. But thank God, I got to see them at the MGM Grand before COVID, and that was going to be it. Their final tour.
Well, do you remember were you here when they had the IMAX at the Caesar's Palace?
I moved here in '88. I think it was there for a couple, 3 years after that.
That was the coolest thing I had ever seen.
And
up to that point.
And the Sphere's much bigger than that.
The first movie that I saw there was called Speed, and
with the no, not that movie.
No, this was the how we got
Sandra
from the bicycle to
to the modern day transportation
to
space. Okay.
And when the movie's starting and the credits and in the beginning, it flashes up on the screen that if all the cars in the world were lined up end to end, some fool would try to pass them. And I thought that was perfect line.
Right.
It's like-
That is. Oh my God. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Amazing. Well, they got other stuff in Vegas too. They're opening up another golf place on the strip.
Oh, really?
It's going to be
Like Top Flight?
it's going to be 10 times bigger. They said it's
Wow.
going to be where they had a rendering of it on the internet somewhere.
Well,
But this town's not stopping. It's not stopping,
I know.
John. Where's it going to go?
I've always said this town has had like big waves and little waves, where a lot goes on and things just start booming and then kind of slows down into a
Right.
little wave. It's still kind of growing, but then it goes back up and you see that pattern over and over and over again. So
Where do you think it's going to go? I mean, how far can it go? I mean, all the way to California or north, like where we're at, all the way to the prison, 40 miles from here? I mean,
well, look what's between here and Mesquite.
there's a lot that could
Yep.
be used. And again, like you said, we go through these slow up and down. Vegas, again, it's been around 100 years. I would have thought that as fast as the growth has happened, we've had some stale time also, like you
Right.
said. So I don't know if this town would have already been. I mean, I moved here in '88. 300,000 was the population.
Yeah.
Now we're approaching 3 million. But it looks like we want to go to a break real quick. We'll
Yeah, I
come
think
back
we
and
should-
finish
we
it
should
off.
Probably do a break here, pay some bills there.
All right, guys, we'll be right back to continue the conversation on Las Vegas growth.
This is the story of one man's incredible journey from 350 to 200-pound weight loss and his mission to help and inspire others. Aaron Phillips. People are praising Aaron's new book with 5-star reviews. Aaron's various humorous and wildly entertaining stories portray his rise as a sports announcer, his encounters with exotic and irregular entertainers on the Las Vegas Strip through his long-running Vegas Unwrapped radio show, and his contagious and positive style of pursuing success. Call now or visit our website or Amazon now to get your copy of Let My Voice Speak to You, stories from a Hall of Fame radio personality. Order now.
All right, and welcome back to Aaron's Hour. I am George the Mouth Miklos, subbing for Aaron. He's off doing his thing. He hasn't been arrested as far as we know. He's doing okay, John. He's all right.
Yep.
We were just discussing, I guess, off camera. There's
Oh,
another.
wait, think about this, okay? So Aaron's over in Riverside, right?
Oh, yeah, he's California.
All right, yeah,
Okay.
because he had to go over there for a convention
Right.
obligation shit. So imagine if we had the monorail.
Oh, yeah.
He could jam over there in the morning, do his thing,
Be home at night.
be home to have dinner.
See, now that's another good thing about the monorail, that's possible.
Yeah,
And again, which is weird. I don't know which is going to open first. Probably the studio before the monorail.
probably.
But there's actors that might be hired from whether they go to Hollywood still or from California to here.
Hop on the
monorail. You're here in a
Yep.
couple hours, do your scene, maybe stay a night or two if you
Yep.
had to, and then boom, take the train back to. No, I see the
Well,
benefits
if
of
the
it.
studio gets built, that's going to be more of an incentive to get the monorail done quicker.
Right. That's going to be awesome too, and it's going to be on that side of town, on the south side where the
Yep.
station's going to be. I don't know how far into town it's going to go. I don't know if they're going to have a main station attic actual casino, or if it's just going to be build one just on the outskirts by the M or something like that. Or
Well, you can be sure that it's going to be completely different from whatever they're planning on right now.
right, it never turns out the way they. Same with the stadium,
Yeah.
with the baseball stadium.
Yep.
The rendering of that looks cool. It looks like the Sydney Opera House in
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Australia. But who knows? I've seen different renderings already. Since the beginning of the talk, they've gone through 2 or 3 different ones. So, and again, baseball in Las Vegas in July and August when it's 150 outside. I mean, I don't know how I did. And some of the renderings didn't look like it was even really closed off at top. It just
Well,
kind of looked like
there's actually glass there. And some of the renderings that I've seen-
separating the
right.
canopy type of thing.
And apparently the way that it's been designed is to maximize the amount of air circulation within the stadium to help reduce the costs of air
use
conditioners.
right, like
So-
solar. They might use solar
Yeah.
panels on the top or something like
Yeah.
that. They're going to have to do that, and they might even build it not just for baseball, but for other events, like they used to do at the Silver Bowl monster truck. But then you got Allegiant right across the street or right down the street.
And the T-Mobile. So,
Yeah, and Thomas and Mack,
Yeah.
which is again, I just worked the NFL, the Super Bowl. It was here, and I worked over at UNLV, where just 3 years ago, the Fertittas, who own the Palace Station casinos,
Right.
they built a football complex there. It was $10-12 million. So Vegas is just in every aspect. Sports, there wasn't there wasn't a sports town,
Right.
not even 10 years ago. Now
But the thing is that one of the thing about businesses in Vegas is no matter what your business is, you are competing with gaming
right.
because that's still the top number one industry in Las Vegas.
It is, and we had mentioned before it.
Right.
I don't know if it always will be, but again, the younger people under 30 are not gambling as much as they used to because that was all that was here
Right.
for a half a century. So now all of a sudden they have all these other options. You can go skiing up at Mount Charleston or water skiing on the lake, and there's other stuff to do besides gambling.
Right.
You know what? But Vegas, the mistake Vegas made, I think, in my opinion, was in the mid 90s when they tried to become child friendly.
Yeah.
The Circus was the only one we knew about for 50 years where kids could go and have the
Right.
circus stuff, which was cool.
It was cool.
It served its purpose, and
Right.
they're revamping it now and trying to upgrade it. But every casino had to go in that direction.
Yeah.
And
Huge mistake.
it was the MGM Grand. They all had all the hotels had their little game room for kids under gaming age and 18, 19, 17, where you could let your kids. It didn't work.
Yeah.
It failed miserably. And I remember the MGM Grand itself had that. It had that water park.
Like the original one or the new one?
The original, where
Where
they had
Bally's is.
Wizard of
Yeah.
Oz.
Right.
No, well, the MGM where the new one is.
The new one is.
When
Yeah.
they built in the mid 90s.
Right.
And they had all these entertainment venues in the back there. It was like a fun park,
Right.
which was okay. They had shows there. They had a
Well, and
Western
they
area.
did the same thing at the Luxor.
Yeah. And that kind of,
Right.
the Luxor
Well,
was the kind of the same
How
Excalibur,
about
the Luxor, and
Star Trek experience over at the
at the Hilton.
Yeah.
Before now the Westgate.
that was
Oh.
a mistake tearing that down.
I agree totally.
Yeah.
I had every actor friend I had in this town worked there.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of Klingons.
Yep.
I knew a lot of
What was the
Starship
weather
officers.
guy that always used to have the little arrow in his finger?
That he was an original weather guy here, and he got a job there.
Right.
Yeah, he was a local actor here
Right.
too.
What the heck was his name?
Oh, I know his name. I've worked with him before.
You know who I mean, though.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he had, I
He
guess,
always had that little yellow arrow on his
Right.
finger when he was pointing out the weather.
and I think he had some issues that happened.
Yeah.
At the where he was a weather guy there
Yeah.
for a long time, and it ended up not working out for him. But he became an actor. His
Then
name
they
is
had
on
the other guy with the dog, Jordan.
Oh yeah, he passed away. He was
Yeah.
sick,
Yeah.
and he always did a lot for dogs,
Yep.
dog shelters, and that kind of thing. Yeah. God, his name is on the tip of my tongue. I'll call you at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I know.
tonight when I wake
Yeah,
up.
like
with
I'm
the
going to
name.
answer.
Right.
Well, no, I'll be up by then.
You'll be up. So you get up that early
Oh yeah.
every day?
Yep.
I'm a day shift
between 2:30 and 3:30 every morning. But I
for the day,
No, every day.
just to get up. I mean, you don't.
Well,
That's when you get up, not like at 5 or 6 a.m.
Right.
Like, that's your time of
Yep.
getting up.
because I that's when I do a lot of my editing. I can get so much done in that period of time before the phones and all that just starts ringing. And I have a couple days a week I have shows that originate from the East Coast and from Australia. So, that time works out. Australia is 18 hours ahead. So when I'm getting up at 3:00 in the morning, they're getting ready to go to bed at 11 or 12 at night, so.
I have friends that live in Perth.
Oh, okay.
They've come here to visit us a couple times, and I met them. I sold them a timeshare in 2008. That's when I first met
And they still
Aaron.
talk to you?
Yeah, I was going to, when I sold them, thinking, oh my, we just became friends. We went to their wedding. They got married here in 2008. I'm thinking, I think they're going to end up hating my guts. But every time they used the timeshare, they never had any issues.
Good.
They even upgraded. That's when I first met Aaron back in the day.
Yeah. Who were you with then?
That was with the the Grandview next to the South Point.
Yeah, gotcha.
And that's where we met. And they live in Perth. And I joked with them. I said, you couldn't live in Sydney. I mean, it's still a 16-hour flight from LA to Sydney, and from LA to Perth is like 16 or 17. I'm thinking, I don't know if I could make it that long enough. Private jet maybe, but sitting in economy, oh my God, I don't know if I could do it. But I would love to go to Perth. I only mentioned that because you mentioned you'd.
No. That's
Australia.
Australia's on my bucket list as well.
It'd be great.
So, yeah, I'd love to go there.
Well, home of AC/DC.
Yeah, and I have friends in Melbourne as well. So
okay,
Melbourne, so.
Which is on the Sydney side, which is not far.
Well, and there's a little island off of the coast of Melbourne,
Tasmania.
No, it's Penguin Island, and they have these little penguins that are just like half the size of regular penguins. That's where they live. That's their island. And I had no clue, no idea that there were penguins outside of the North or South Pole.
Wow. Well, they're pretty south, but I don't know. They're not that south.
No, they're not that south.
But again, if you're going to go to Australia, you need to go to New Zealand. And then when I found out that, hell, New Zealand's 1,500 miles from Sydney, east, I'm going, I thought it was closer.
That's halfway across the United States.
Yeah, it's from here to Kansas.
Yeah.
So I didn't know it was that far away from me. So it's
an hour and a half flight.
Well, yeah.
2 tops.
You ever seen those on Facebook, social media on Facebook, especially? They have the longest flights in the world.
Never seen that.
And they show you a little graphic of a plane, like the longest flight in the world, New York to Shanghai.
Yeah.
And then they'll show the plane. They have a map of the U.S. and they show then they'll have the ding on the plane, ding, ding. And then they show, have you ever seen those?
No.
It's cool. They show the plane and the path that they take to get there. And it's
like
just
JetBlue.
Right. And it goes, every once in a while you hear the ding, ding. And they show the map. It's really cool how they.
There was, speaking of JetBlue, some years back, you may remember this. There was a JetBlue flight that was coming into LA or Orange County. I don't remember which. Had lost one of its wheels, or the wheels wouldn't come down or something like that. And there was, like flames coming out of the bottom of the plane. So wait, all the passengers, because JetBlue has those TV screens on the back of the seat. So you got all the passengers watching all the news broadcasts about their plane coming in. And, and the pilot brought it in beautifully. They foamed the runway and all that stuff. But imagine sitting on that plane going,
watching the news.
Shit.
Flight 287's on its way down. You're like, well, wait a second.
Hey, that's us.
And speaking of that, what you brought that up, we got a few minutes.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on with Boeing and all these fucking planes? All of a sudden,
you don't want to get me started on
another door fell off.
You don't want to get me started.
A tire fell. I'm like, what the? I don't even want to fly anymore. And then now you have to. I think we brought this up on Roundtable once.
Yeah.
Now when you call to get your ticket, hey, is this a Boeing plane or is this an Airbus? I mean, what? I mean, Boeing is in that's a lot of trouble here. Nobody wants to fly anywhere. Can you imagine, like you mentioned, flying, and all of a sudden the fucking door bowl flies off. They were only 16,000 feet up.
Well, now the some of the airlines are offering discounts if you're willing to sit in that aisle and hold the door closed.
Right. Oh, I heard they're going to pay you to sit in the aisle and hold the door closed for everybody.
They also pass out chewing gum.
What's that?
They also pass out chewing gum.
Oh, they give chew. Oh, well, God.
And duct tape.
What if
now it's legal to carry pliers and a screwdriver?
Right, because you might die. If you have any tools, please bring them on board for you. Well, what if the door had come off at 35,000 feet instead of 16? And then we also discussed that some of these.
It would have been all over.
Oh, and then you've got that whistleblower that died.
Right.
He said 25% of the airplanes at Boeing, the oxygen masks, 25% of those planes, it would fail.
Right.
And they wouldn't come down. It wouldn't work. So what's going on, man? This is technology.
That's what happens when you release or I can't think of the word I'm doing. Relax when
Right.
you relax some of the safety standards.
Well, even the pilot showed up drunk.
Right.
Did you see the one last week?
Yeah.
Showed up drunk and he had 2 bottles of Jägermeister in his bag. One of them was half full. What the hell, man? What
Well,
the
that
hell?
depends. If you're a pessimist, they're half empty.
Well, yeah, they have a limit. I think you can't have a drink
8 hours.
Okay, 8 hours
Bottle
before.
to throttle, 8 hours.
Why would you even think it would be okay to show up? Now he got fired. You could have called in sick or whatever, but you show up with, and again, in the old days, I don't think stewardesses or crews had to go through a metal detector. They just assumed the pilots.
None of
Hey,
us
hi,
did.
Captain Jim, come on in.
You could walk up to the gate and
Yeah.
meet your passenger.
Just bypass the security stuff. Hey, Bob, how are you? You got your bag, and now they're checking everybody. You got 2 bags of Jaeger or 2 bottles of Jägermeister. One's half full.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I don't even want to fly anymore. And,
Well,
it's time to go. It's your time to go. Well, fuck that. There's certain things that you can try to prevent stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, you can get hit as soon as you walk out of the door and a engine part can fall on you. But still, it's just.
Speaking of when it's your time, in the San Fernando Valley, this was back in late 60s, early 70s. So there was a story about a guy and his family. They were supposed to fly from Southern California to New York or something like that. And he kept having this bad dream about a plane crash. And so he and his family, they decided that they were going to drive instead. Left the house, cars all packed up. They're going past the airport in Van Nuys, the Van Nuys airport.
I know where this is going.
Plane taking off, crashes right into their car. So.
And they're both, they
all died, the whole family.
Well, I guess you can't say he died in a plane crash. Was he on the airplane?
Yeah.
Well, no.
And that's just the thing. It's like, okay, holy shit,
Unbelievable.
And it was like, because he was telling everybody, hey, I keep having this dream. We're not flying, we're driving. Fuck that. You just don't know, man.
Now, do you think with this monorail, how we talked about monorail people, mainly people that don't drive or don't want to fly will do it. Do you think the passenger count at McCarran at the airports or Harry Reid now, I forgot,
right,
at the airport, you think flying will go down those passengers?
I don't think it's going to affect flights that much because, I mean, when you think about Harry Reid's a pretty big airport.
It's one of the top 10 in the U.S.
And so I think the percentage of flights from California in the overall picture of the flights coming in there isn't that great. I mean, it might be, there might be 10,000 people a week or something like that. But when you think about how many people fly in and out of that.
Probably not a big difference.
I don't think it's going to have a big impact.
You got like 30 million visitors a year here.
Right.
Before COVID, it was over 40 million. And I figured that you had maybe 2/3 of them were from airplanes.
Right.
The rest are cars, buses, that kind of thing. But all right, well, we're heading towards the very end.
Thank God.
I know. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I know Aaron, hopefully, I don't know if he's watching or not, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I did want to cover one more thing here. We did have a couple of comments. I wanted to let people comment on what they thought about the movie studios. We got a couple of minutes here. And some guy named Gary, this had better triple the value of my house.
Gary again.
Right. It better triple the value of my house because if this project goes through, we will have 10 times the traffic that we have now.
I didn't even think about that, what it's going to do for property value.
I think it's going to help out. That's for sure.
I do too. Yeah.
And property taxes too might go up a little, but we'll see what happens.
I don't care. I'm a veteran.
Right. Yeah. First thought was my equity too. Some guy said, Eric. And did you see how small the development is? It's not, it's not big by Sony standards. It's 10 buildings, but it's still going to cover a lot of stuff. They're going to have every department that's on a movie studio in there. Here's one guy named Jody. Good luck paying the taxes on your triple home. Hope you don't get forced to leave and sell. Well, I don't think there's any houses in that area anyway. The land's vacant. So get your shit straight. How about there's a lot of empty warehouses and hangars in the valley. Why don't you use those? This is a guy.
Because they're not all in one place.
Right. Here's a guy we were just discussing, LW. Howard Hughes, the man, he used to own RKO Pictures in Hollywood, and it's an interesting turn of events. We mentioned he'd probably be pleased about all this. All right, here we go. Some guy named L. Gene. This is an unhappy one. The California invasion has already altered our city and not for the good. Nevada didn't learn and now trying to make it Holly weird. WTF, we all know what that means. What the F
Wednesday,
do you...
Thursday, Friday.
Right. What the F do you think they've been moving here? Hint, same thing is happening now at our borders. Oh, blah, blah. Here we go. Okay, so wait, Debbie's comment. So wait, he left LA because he didn't want to be around it anymore. This is about Mark Wahlberg.
Right.
So he moves to Vegas and wants to create it over there. All righty then. I don't think it'll be quite, that's not what he really was wanting to do. I think he just wanted to see Las Vegas, and he knows the talent here to help build a studio where, because they film a bunch of movies here anyway. So why not have a studio here? Couple more before we head out. Rick said, Mark Wahlberg hates crime. Just Google Mark Wahlberg hates crime. See all the work he's done. So you got some positive things about that. Congratulations, future Nevada Governor Mark Wahlberg, the modern Las Vegas Howard Hughes. Never thought about that. Who knows? He's got the money now. He could do that. There's no lack in the universe, just a distribution problem. That was another guy. All right. Hollywood comes to Nevada. Yay. All right. So you got some mostly positive comments. Again, you're going to always have a lot of those naysayers.
You're going to have negative no matter what you do.
So how much time we got left? We're on the timeout. We're
if
going on the way out.
If they announced that Jesus was coming back tomorrow, there'd be people bitching about it.
Well, Vegas, definitely. Sin City, baby. So how much time we got left? We're pretty much on the way out? Or
yeah, we're a minute over.
Okay. Well, guys, I appreciate it. They're telling us to get the hell out of here. Thanks again for joining us for Aaron's Hour. I'm George the Mouth Miklos. We appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next Thursday with the Roundtable Show, and Aaron will be back. So again, thanks, John, for letting me do this. Aaron, thanks again. Hope I didn't screw it all up. Thanks, Rennie, for being here and there and chiming in when you did. We'll talk to you guys later, man. Have a good one.